Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm dropping brand new videos on topics such as public speaking, social skills, productivity, and much more. Join the tribe by hitting that subscribe button right on below. Hit that bell notification and never miss another video again. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And be sure to drop that like on your way in. Today, we're going to be answering the question, is it smart to drop a bad habit cold turkey? Smart is a very subjective word. So let's reframe it to, is it doable? The answer is yes. You can drop a bad habit cold turkey. And in today's episode, I'm going to be giving you two different stories of when it was possible from people that I've met. The thing that you want to understand about dropping a bad habit cold turkey is that it typically occurs under two different scenarios. Either intense shame was involved or an intense why to do better was involved. So let's start off with the first story, shame. Roughly around 2011, hookah was becoming very popular in the Tampa Bay area. Most kids in their early 20s were going to hookah bars on Fridays, on Saturdays, and on Sundays. It started to get so popular later on that people even started to go there on the weekdays. They would get a hookah, they would bring their laptop, and they would puff and study, puff and study. Now you gotta understand this, a hookah for a college student, consistently doing it becomes a pretty expensive habit. So one of the kids, his name was Rahul. He decides that he's going to cheat the system in some ways. He starts doing his research. He starts to see what goes behind packing a hookah, how much a hookah costs, the tobacco that's involved, and the coals that are involved. And Rahul realizes that why is he going to an actual hookah bar for? It would be much more efficient to buy the hookah and assemble it at his own place. Soon, a lot of the people from the Tampa Bay region were going to Rahul's apartment to smoke the hookah for free. Now, this was good for a lot of the other kids, but it was not good for Rahul. The reason why was because he was getting addicted to smoking the hookah. He would wake up in the morning, smoke a bowl. In the evening, he would pack another hookah bowl. At night, he would pack another hookah bowl. And soon, I started to see something about Rahul that was changing. His breath started to get shorter. And if we would go one floor up to go to class, he was huffing and puffing away. One time, we went to the second floor to go to class, and he was so out of breath that he had to sit down. And I'm like, Rahul, you good? And he's like, no, man, I'm not good. I think I'm having a heart attack. I was like, a heart attack? Dude, you're only 22 years old. You can't have a heart attack. And he's like, no, man, like, I really don't feel good. So we walked to the medical center. They started doing some assessments on him. And it's pretty serious. What Rahul found out was that he had tar in his blood. I didn't even know that was a thing. Either did Rahul. He was so scared and he was so shameful because most of his relatives, they're athletes. And Rahul looks like he's fat. He's about to have a heart attack at age 22. He has tar in his blood. And on that day, he felt so much shame that he went home, he got the hookah, threw it in the trash, and he never did it again. This was story number one of shame being involved in order to drop a bad habit cold turkey. Now, the other scenario, the big why. A couple of years back, I had this one roommate who let himself go. He got very fat. The funny thing was that this roommate, a couple of years earlier, was in shape. He had these big traps, nice shoulders, big biceps, in great shape. This was roughly around the time when this roommate wanted to get married, and he downloaded a dating app. He posted a lot of the pictures of when he was in shape on the dating app, and he started to match with different girls. What started to happen was he matched with a girl that was perfect for him, and she wanted to FaceTime him. And this is when the roommate comes up to me and is like, hey, this girl thinks I look like me from back in the days. She doesn't know that I'm fat right now. What do I do? So we start to hatch this plan together. I'm like, you just say that the bottom of your phone broke. So in their first ever FaceTime meeting, he's basically just showing the top half of his face, and she can't tell how much weight that this guy has gained. The FaceTime call went so well that she wanted to meet him in person. I would say 6 to 8 weeks was when they were supposed to meet. And now this guy had this intense why to get back into shape. He cut out junk food. He cut out a lot of unhealthy food just in general, like sweets and all that other nonsense. He started to go to the gym. And within 8 weeks, he looked like his old self. His diet, by the way, was not healthy, but for the most part, he shriveled up and started to look good again. He eventually ended up marrying this girl, and afterwards, he never went back to overeating like that again. So this was another situation of when a bad habit, an unhealthy lifestyle, was dropped cold turkey. So is it possible? The answer is yeah, it's possible. But is it smart for most people? I would say the answer is no. Unless you're in these dire circumstances of intense shame or an intense why, I think it's much better to ease yourself out of a bad habit. The reason why that it's smart to ease yourself out of the bad habit is because we have to understand what habits are in the first place. Habits are solidified neural pathways in your nervous system. And these solidified neural pathways don't like to be shocked out of the blue moon. It likes gradual, smooth changes. The only time that it will bypass the gradual, smooth changes is when intense emotions are involved, sort of like the shame and the intense why. But other than that, for most people out there, the easy way to do it is to ease your way out of the bad habit and to start replacing it with a good habit. As you weaken the neural pathways for the bad habit, you start to strengthen the neural pathways for a good habit. This allows for more consistency, and this allows for more long-lasting changes. Do you want to learn more about habit building? You've been doing some research on it, and you're like, all this stuff is too confusing. They use a lot of big words and a big mumbo jumbo that I don't quite understand. If you are someone that wants to improve your lifestyle and drop bad habits and add good habits to your life, then be sure to check out my Habit Building for Dummies class. This is a class roughly 14 minutes long where I break down what exactly is a habit, how to adopt good cornerstone habits, aka the habits that influence multiple parts of your life, how to be consistent. And if you're up for it, the class is going to end with a final project that will allow you to take the information and bring it into reality. Does that sound good? If so, check out the Habit Building for Dummies class in the description box or in the pinned comment right on below. And thank you very much for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel.